What is going on? It is T3 Collects, and as you can tell from the thumbnail, it says stressed out, and I'm going to explain what I mean about being stressed out. So you guys just saw the video 2 days ago on Tuesday drop, the lost videos or the lost toy hunts from the past 2 weeks that I just really didn't have time to fully edit like I really wanted to, but I needed to put something up for you guys since it's been 2 weeks. I'm trying to think, 2 weeks since my last toy hunt. So you're getting something that, yes, it's probably not the greatest quality. It's not edited correctly. It just kind of like put together, but it's in chronological order of toy hunting after coming back from Southern California. So you got all the Southern California toy hunts with RAF and trying to think, SoCal Gaming Expo, stuff like that. I did post a video with the horror stuff at Walmart, so you got to see that. So that was kind of out of order, that part. But this is more of a serious thing, is kind of like the reason why I took a 2-week break from, I wouldn't say really toy hunting. I just really wasn't in the headspace to really toy hunt. So what you guys saw is raw and what you guys got. So those last 2 weeks, the video that you've seen a couple days ago, that is strictly raw, as raw as you're going to get. Like I said, there's no editing. There may have been like a couple things I threw in there. But the reason why I was stressed out the last 2 weeks, the reason why you weren't getting constant toy hunts is because I'm trying to think what day it was. I want to say it was, so Father's Day was on Sunday. I want to say it was like 2 days later. My father ended up in the ICU, and something that you never really want to hear is your parents going into the hospital. I mean, my parents are getting older. My dad is 76. He has worked for the railroad for 30 or plus years, I think almost 40. And in working for the railroad, he had bad habits like smoking, and he smoked, from what I can remember, the earliest when I was probably like 4 or 5, I remember him smoking, and that finally caught up to him. In 2020, he was diagnosed with lung cancer, then he had a heart attack. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2020, so they were going through a hard time all through COVID. The COVID era is what I call it. And anyway, long story short, fast forward to 4 years later, back to Father's Day. I saw my father, gave him my Father's Day card, and a couple days later, he's in the hospital ICU. And the phone call I got from my mom was, normally I'm cool with getting a phone call from my mom, but knowing that he was going to the hospital, and I thought maybe he was going to be okay, but it was my dad's suggestion to go because he said he didn't feel right. Something was wrong, and I'm glad my mom took him. But yeah, it's been a stressful 2 weeks, to tell you that much. So the next morning, I think it was like Wednesday morning, I got a phone call from my mom, and she's bawling, and the first thing I thought was he passed away, or it just something bad happened. I didn't know, and I was trying to calm my mom down, so I got her to calm down to like talk to me, and basically the doctors were giving her the go ahead. Like, my mom would have to make a decision to, I guess, end my dad's life. I don't really know how to explain that. It was kind of like, I heard it and I was just like, I don't know how to comprehend this right now. and I'm the more logical kid of my two siblings. So I had a younger sister and an older sister, and my first thought was, okay, got to make sure my mom's okay, got to make sure my younger sister's okay, because that's my dad's baby. And then my older sister, who's my stepsister, or half sister, not stepsister, half sister, got to make sure she's okay. So my thing was making sure I could get my sisters and my mom to be, cohesive, and we talked through everything. But it was just really hard, and I had a hard time with making any decision of like, okay, I knew like I needed to take a shower, get ready, and leave. So I did. I went to our parents' house. I met with my mom. We went to the hospital together, and I will tell you that it was very hard to see my father in a hospital with a tube down his throat, basically intubated. Jeez, I can't freaking talk. So that was very hard. And the funny thing is, I guess not really that funny, but when my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer and he had a heart attack, like I said earlier, that was 4 years ago. And at that point is when I knew that my dad isn't invincible. And I knew that time was ticking, basically. I know that sounds like, I don't know, crazy to think that way, maybe. I don't know. But that's kind of like when I knew, okay, like, eventually it's gonna happen. So I need to be okay with this now. So 4 years ago, I kind of came to peace with as my parents are getting older, that they were going to pass away eventually someday. I wasn't expecting 4 years later this would come to this point of my life. I had just turned 45. Just had Father's Day with my father, and then he was in the hospital. So a little stressed out, wasn't really thinking about toy hunting, and in reality, who cares at this point? Like, toy hunting didn't mean anything to me for 2 weeks, but in reality, when I was doing it, what you saw and like all the rawness was to get my head around something different. I mean, I really wasn't into it. I wasn't like seeking out to go toy hunting like I normally do. My head wasn't really in it, but also I was trying to distract myself. I was trying to stay busy, going to the movies. My younger sister came home with my niece, and it was hard to see my kids, my niece, and sisters basically see my dad in this state. So, yeah, I had to be the one to kind of keep the glue together, and the positive mindset for my mom, because my mom can be very negative. And I was, like I said, I was really worried about my mom, really worried about my sister, my younger sister, because she's tried to commit suicide twice. So that's the reason why I'm doing this video, kind of get a little bit more context behind why the lost toy hunt videos just are now coming out 2 weeks later. And I mean, I really don't have to explain this to you guys, really, but I really want to, because I'm very honest, open, and this is me being as emotional as I can. As for my dad, he is getting better, so thank God that he's getting better. He's in a rehab center right now. He won't be coming home for another month, so that kind of sucks. He wants to come home so bad. He hates being there, which I totally get. And I try to go see him every 2 days. So my mom will see him, my older sister will see him, and then I'll go see him. My younger sister lives 6 hours away, so it's hard for her to come up here now. But yeah, so that's kind of the reason why the toy hunts haven't been really happening, and why you kind of got a lost tapes or lost videos toy hunt that's kind of mishmashed all into one, and it's an hour long. So I really do want to break up and edit 2 videos, because I've had this on my mind that I wanted to do this video. So yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on. and I want to say thank you to Raphael. Like he's one of my close friends now. And to Chris, the man collects. They're kind of really the only two I told right away, because at the time, I talked to Raph pretty much every day. And Chris, I told him because he was texting me about something, and I kind of told him. And then I let the rest of our toy hunt group in our little group chat know. So everyone kind of knows now. But luckily he's okay. He has a long road to recovery. Even when he comes home, he is still not going to be 100%. Now he has to be on oxygen for the rest of his life. This was all due to his doctor, prescribing him a medicine that was supposed to be helping him, which was destroying his kidneys. And so crazy, I can tell you that. Let's just say my mom is very upset with his doctor, and it sucks. Also, another reason why he's still in this rehab center is the ICU actually had messed up his IV. So instead of it going into his, bloodstream, it was going into the tissue of his arms. So his arms looked freaking crazy. I don't want to explain it really, because it's a mess, and his arms look like they were frostbitten. Basically, they were black, and he had on his right arm he has a big old chemical burn from that. So another issue, another thing he has to overcome, and eventually that'll heal. But it just sucks, because partly if that didn't happen, his arms wouldn't have swollen up and they wouldn't look like they did. Kind of like, they look like a burnt hot dog. Seriously, it was pretty gnarly. And not to get too graphic, like I said, it was really hard to see my dad in that state, and he literally was just telling me, he's like, I'm done, I'm giving up. And I had to motivate my dad every time I saw him that you can't give up. You gotta stay. You have grandkids. I know you want to see them, go to college or do something in their life, maybe get married. Maybe they'll have kids eventually. Like, my kids are still too young for that stuff, but I was like, you got to stick around. And I told him, like, if he can get out of the hospital and get out of his rehab, that him and I are going to a Rams Seahawks game in Los Angeles, because that's his team, that's my team. And I had to talk some sense into him, and I feel like I have to do that every time, which helps. Thankfully, it freaking helps, because my dad's mind's just like going a million miles a minute, and all through that, he was losing oxygen. So he was losing. He had lost all the oxygen in his brain, so he's having a hard time with his memory, and that's something that's been kind of going on for a little while. Like, these are all things that we just found out over the last 2 weeks. And like I said, he's slowly improving. So luckily, he'll be coming home in August at some point. But yeah, that is, just wanted to share that with you guys. And I want to thank Raph again, and Chris, and the Collecting Degenerates group, Art, John Collecting Havoc, AZ Toy Hunter Guild, for being there and listening and understanding what's going on. And then they were all just like, screw toy hunting, who cares, this is your dad, this is your family. And I totally agree with them. Like, the toy hunting I was doing, like I was explaining, was just kind of a distraction, and it was just, I didn't even care. I was going to the store filming things, and was just not excited like I normally would have been. But yeah, sucks. My parents are getting old, and I just had to reaffirm with my older and younger sister, this is gonna happen eventually, and you guys need to come to terms with this now versus when that happens. And luckily, my parents have updated their wills. The will for them, I think they did that a couple of years ago. And as hard it is to talk about that stuff, this is just, T3 being real with you, raw. And it's like 1:30 in the morning right now, and I'm going to San Francisco, which you'll see that video also this week. Taking my daughter to her first concert. It's a Blink-182 concert, which is one of my all-time favorite bands, and one of her favorite bands is actually the opener, Pierce the Veil. So going to do that to distract from everything else, and even though I know my dad's going to be okay, this is just a fresh thing to go do. I get to experience something with my daughter for the first time, and yeah, so that is it. Thank you guys for, I guess, listening to 15 minutes of me ranting about, not really ranting, but kind of like spilling my guts out to kind of like explain why the toy hunts haven't been really going on and why you got the lost toy hunt videos. So probably spun that too many times, but yeah, that is why. So thank you for you guys' support. Continue watching the videos. Thumbs up this video, thumbs up the toy hunt video from a couple days ago. Like, comment, subscribe. Really, toy hunting is just a hobby for me. This isn't like a lifelong goal of me becoming famous, because I don't really care about fame. I just enjoy doing it, and I enjoy everyone in the community that I'm friends with. So anyway, that is it. It's almost 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm gonna go to bed. I have a long journey to San Francisco, and we'll see you guys soon. There'll be a Blink-182 video up probably the following day, probably Friday, maybe Saturday, I don't know. But thank you guys. I will see you guys later. And then next week there'll be an actual toy hunts, whatever I can find out there, because Target and Walmart are terrible right now. But anyway, peace. Thank you. Love you guys.